Welcome to this brief video on how to use Access in Bugzilla for Labs 4, 5, and 6. There are printed instructions provided with the labs. This brief video may help you visualize better what's going on. Well, dealing with a table, here's our sample table called the product table, and it has 6 fields, and there are definitions for the 4 fields, for all the fields. There were test cases that were created back in Lab 4, and test 1 was the attempt to enter a valid complete record, which is always a good way to start. So let's open the Access database. We open Access, we have the table, the product table, we double click on the product table, and we have all of our fields. The test said enter into the UPC field 0240001628865, and the 5 is not being taken, which would imply there's a problem in the definition of the field. It's only accepting 11 characters as opposed to 12. This is fairly serious. It's not a blocker because we can just put in 11 characters and continue to test, but it does require us to document this. So we will now go into Bugzilla. Okay, we will click on File a Bug. It is the registration system, and this particular table is the sample table. This is version 1 of the table. The severity, this is not a blocker, but it is critical. It would enter on a PC on Windows 7. Summary, UPC field only accepts 11 characters. Now, one of the key things in documenting a bug is to always indicate steps to reproduce. This is open the database. Attempt to enter a 12-digit UPC into the UPC field. The database only accepts 11 digits. So we could add an attachment to it. We aren't going to because there's no destination for a screenshot. We could go ahead and put this is, we need to put this, we had already identified the severity. We can actually then click on Submit Bug. And the bug has now been submitted into our database. Okay. And so the next thing we will do is we'll go back to our list of test cases. Test case number 2, attempt to enter an invalid UPC codes in the database, both too short and too long. Well, there's no need to do this right now because we know what the deep problem is. So we'll go ahead and run that later once the fix has been put in. But we'll go to step number 3, attempt to enter a blank manufacturer's name into the database. So we go back to the database, we'll leave manufacturer blank. Oh, it says you can't do it. You must enter a value in the product manufacturer's field. So therefore, test case 2 worked. And we got that because we were trying to tab by there, and it says we have to have a value in the product manufacturer field. So we are now done with test case number 2. It works successfully. Test case number 3, excuse me. Number 4, put a 25 characters manufacturer name in the database. Well, we're going to have to go back and put in a character in here, 25 characters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X. It took that. And then it tells us to enter Blue Lake, cut green beans, and press tab, and enter a cost field of 0.175 and a retail price of 0.38 and a quantity of 144, and we push tab. The record is committed. At that point in time, all of the fields are tested, so we know that record number 1 worked just fine. And So now I'm going to go ahead and delete that record so we can start with test case number 5. Again, we have to put in a UPC of 0 to start back to the beginning. Of 0 to 4000162286. We know it won't take the 5, but we've documented that. The manufacturer, okay, we're going to try for 26 characters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, T, U, V, W, X, Y, W, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, it should not accept the Z, so test case number 5 works successfully. We go on to number 6. We want to go into the description field and check for 25 characters. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and that worked just fine. And then we go to the cost field and put in 0.175 and the retail price of 0.39 and a quantity of 144, and tab is accepted by the record. That test case is done. That was test case number 7. Now we go to number 8. Let's go back and delete the record again, so we start over. And we're going to put in 0 2 4 0 0 0 1 6 2 8 6. Tab. We'll put Del Monte as a manufacturer. The description as blue lake cut green beans. We go to the cost field and we're going to enter 0.1234 and tab, and what's happening is it's not displaying the 4, it accepted it, it's only showing 3 decimal places, so the 4th decimal place is being held. That's not super serious, but we should record a defect on that. So we go back to our database and we're going to we need a new bug. So we have to say, well, we want to close that one, and we go to next. Well, we'll go back again. We'll just go back to new registration system, the sample, version 1, severity. This is probably I'll call normal, and and the cost field only displays 3 decimal places, but will accept more. Description, entering 0.1234 in the cost field, but only 0.123 is shown in the database. And we'll go submit that bug, and that's now done. And now we're going to go to test case number 9. So we will delete our record again. Well, we already had Del Monte, Blue Lake green beans. We can keep going with this one. We use this same record over again. In the cost field, we put 0.175, and in the retail price, we put 0.123 and tab, and it stored the 3 again, but it accepts it because it really stores it. So again, we can go back into our database and click on New for a new bug, registration system, and we'll go to the sample table and entering 3 decimal places into the price field is accepted, but only 2 decimals are displayed. So in the record, enter 0.123 for the price, and 0.12 is displayed. And then we can submit that bug. We now have submitted 3 bugs. And the last defect, the last test case that was specified, said enter a quantity of -1. Now we hit tab, we get a message invalid quantity, so that test case worked just fine. Now we finished the 10 test cases, but it's worth going back and see what else. The test cases may not have been explicit enough. What if you had a minus cost? It's accepting a minus cost, appears to be. Let's try that over again. We'll delete the record, and we'll put 024000016 286, manufacturer Del Monte, Blue Lake cut green beans. And what if you put a negative cost and a negative retail price and quantity of 10? So it's accepting negative costs and negative prices. That wasn't originally in our test cases, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's go back into our database, and we're going to enter in Bugzilla. We're going to enter another new one in the registration system. And again, it is the sample table, and say cost and price fields accept negative values. Well, let's see. Previous. And I must have pushed the wrong key. I think at this point in time, y'all understand the impact of Bugzilla and Access. You have to take your time, be careful, but make sure that you document the defects you find, and be sure and put the steps to reproduce the defect. After you've seen the defect and you've moved on to something else, it's quite often the fact that you can't remember what you did to create it. It must be documented how it was reproduced, so it can be reproducible by the developer to fix it. Thank you for listening to this short video, and good luck with Lab 4.